Good evening, ladies and gents, wherever you may be around the world, and welcome to Splendid Isolation number 271. As always, I'm going to start us off with a tune.
Take up the white man's burden, send forth the best ye breed. Go bind your sons to exile, to serve your captives' need, to wait in heavy harness on flooded folk and wall. Your new God's sullen peoples have devil and have child. Take up the white man's burden, in patience to abide, to veil the threat of terror and check the show of pride. By open speech and simple, 100 times made plain, to seek another's profit and work another's gain. Take up the white man's burden, the savage wars of peace. Fill full the mouth of famine and bid the sickness cease. And when your goal is nearest, the end for others sought, what's love and heed and folly, bring all your hopes to naught. Take up the white man's burden, no tawdry rule of kings, but toil of servant sweeper, the tale of common things. The ports ye shall not enter, the roads ye shall not tread. Go make them with your living and mark them with your dead. Take up the white man's burden and reap his old reward. The blame of those ye better, the hate of those ye guard. The cry of those ye humor are slowly towards the light. Why brought ye us from bondage, a loved Egyptian night? Take up the white man's burden, ye dare not stoop to less, nor call too loud on freedom to cloak your weariness. By all ye cry or whisper, by all ye leave or do, the silent, sullen people shall weigh your gods and you. Take up the white man's burden, have done with childish days, the lightly profit laurel, the easy ungrudged praise. Come thou to search your manhood through all of thankless years. No age with give or wisdom, the judgment of your peers. Take off the white man's burden through all of thankless years.
Of course, Chris Gard. If you like good music, go and check out Chris Gard's YouTube channel. He also does lots of modern contemporary stuff as well as traditional stuff like that. And you can also follow him on X on Twitter, where we are also live at the moment. Before I start, I'd just like to say thoughts and prayers, first of all, to Mercian, because his dad's not very well. And also to AI, because AI probably won't be joining us this evening because he's taken his dad to the hospital. And so thoughts and prayers for those two guys. I say thoughts and prayers. I'm not really a Christian. I'm an agnostic, but for those people who are, go and do that, please. And both good blokes. So, and we've got Mercy with us this evening, I'm happy to say. How are you going this evening, Mercy?
I'm doing good considering we're having a spring heat wave, and I'm cooking. I found out the radiators are still on as well, so
yeah, you probably want to turn those off as there's a heat wave, mate.
Well, it's an old backboard. I've switched off the water pump and turned the thermostat down to 45 Fahrenheit because it's still Fahrenheit thermostat. Oh.
Let me see. Chris Gard, does he get royalties for that song? Not from this channel, but he lets me use it because I know Chris Gard. Okay, he's a good chap. But I publicize him every week, as you may have noticed if you watch this stream. I don't know if he will get royalties from other places, I dare say, given he performed it and another friend of his actually did the arrangement, the words and stuff for it. So, yeah. But that is enough of that one. Okay. Hopefully Mitch will join us at some stage. I've sent in the stream link. Did you have a first subject for this evening, Mercia?
So, one before we start, what's the temperature like down with you, Duke, today?
For me today, it's getting into late autumn here, of course, in Australia, because it's the southern hemisphere. But it was probably about 60 today, I suppose. 65, maybe.
Right. Oh, that's so nice. Unlike us, summer's kicking in now.
Okay, what's your temperature there, Farian? But
it's like 29 or 30 today.
Yeah, but understand, I'm old-fashioned. I'm Fahrenheit.
What? That's like about 90, I think. 90 Fahrenheit, about.
Well, that's quite warm for late May in Britain, but I can remember it being that hot in Britain for sure.
And it's horrible every time, though.
Well, the thing is, Britain's not set up for those temperatures. You know, like you guys don't have air conditioning and stuff like that, do you?
No.
Woodpit. Australia doesn't use Fahrenheit, but when I was a young man, Britain did, and I can still do pound, shillings, and pence. You know, LSD. I can still do that, and I still think in miles an hour, not kilometers an hour. And I still do Fahrenheit. I do understand that the way to get the rough Fahrenheit temperature from centigrade is you double it and have 30. That will give it to you very approximately.
Yeah, see, I started heat training a week ago, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to be so cold," and then like suddenly we've just been struck by this heat wave, so it's actually worked out perfectly. I went out and did 2 hours of intervals today in the midday sun, and I sweat tons, but I actually felt all right.
Adam, you will remember that very old song from pre-World War II. Mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun.
And I didn't put any sunscreen on, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fucking cook. But I did actually have a noticeable sort of tanning, but no burning. So
cool.
Well, my favourite type of viral video is like people like Floridians visiting Britain during a heat wave, and they're even going, "This is no joke, man. This is no joke." It's my favourite genre.
I think. I even put a post on X on Twitter. I just pointed out that 70 years ago, British people ran most of the hot and tropical places in the world, and yet somehow we survived,
But I'd have like my little Indian guy fanning me throughout the day. That make it a lot more bearable.
Yeah, you'd have the punker waller pulling the punker with his toe, but also, to say nothing that Australia and South Africa get pretty damn hot in the summer. I can tell you, but.
We must have made different stuff because, you go back to like the 19th century and people dressed in full suits, and when they go exploring, like the Panama white suit with a Panama hat and everything, and it's sort of like everyone's stripping down to their underwear these days, going, "Oh, that's too hard."
Yeah, I mean the materials were a lot
Yeah.
were sort of better back then. Like if you buy a sort of off the rack suit now, it's like it's like polyester everything, and it's like if you have like admittedly a very thin wool suit or even a linen suit with a proper silk liner, it actually feels really nice, even when it's pretty.
It is cool. Yeah.
The other thing as well that I always wondered, and you might know the answer to this, Duke, because I was saying about heat training in the film Cartoon, they depict the British Army spending like 2 weeks heat training in Egypt before they venture south. Is that a real thing that the British Army
acclimatizing? Yes.
Yes. And they would have them doing like exercises in the midday a little more every day and stuff like that.
Yeah, it takes you a while to get used to it. I mean, I remember when I went to Singapore, when you get off the aircraft in Singapore, it's like someone's chucked a wet hot blanket over you because it's so humid, or at least it was in the summer when I went there, early summer actually. But yeah, but you get used to it. After a while, you get used to it. I lived in Durban for a long time, and Durban is it's subtropical, partly because of the ocean currents that you get there. And again, it's very humid, but you get used to it after a while. You do.
Well, here's a random observation. Because YouTube offers free with ads, I watched the film Evolution from 2001, and that film is set in Arizona, and Dan Aykroyd is in that. He plays the mayor of the town that's under attack by the aliens, and they go to napalm the aliens. And bear in mind, this is a town in Arizona, and Dan Aykroyd is wearing a full suit with a big furry coat. And it's the first time I looked at that scene. I went, why is he wearing a furry coat in the middle of the day in Arizona? All I can think is it wasn't filmed in Arizona.
You mentioned
I will tell you this though, guys. There's a secret. Deserts, whether it be the desert in Egypt or a desert in Australia or a desert in Southern Africa, deserts or in America indeed, deserts get bloody cold at night because there's no clouds, so there's nothing to keep the heat in. So at night, deserts are fucking freezing.
Well, this was set during the day, so all I can think is it was not filmed in Arizona.
No, I think places like Arizona, I think in the winter there it can get quite chilly. But
Really?
only in the winter.
But it's still really sandy, so it looks hot.
Yeah.
But one of the
as well, if you go back and look at those old photos of people old English explorers wearing suits, a lot of those people were ridiculously quite lean. I remember seeing a photo a few years ago of some French Marines from I think the 1880s, and they were kind of shredded to the fucking bone.
yeah.
And it's so absurd to look at now, and you kind of sit there and you think people back then must have struggled to keep warm in the winter. I don't know about cool in the summer.
Look at photographs of people like David Livingstone, for example, the explorer, the Scottish explorer, very whipcord guy,
Yeah.
Yeah, the materials.
He was strong. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he survived a lion attack, which not many people do, I can tell you. But he had no excess fat whatsoever. No,
I think they built a lot denser muscles in the past, because you look at you can see armor suits. These weren't huge guys, but they were they could march in this stuff all day and not be bothered, and then go and fight a battle. So they're very strong, but just I don't know. It's built different.
100%. I've got to ask you guys something before we start our normal programming. I joined some dude's space on X earlier, mainly not because I knew him, but because I knew one of the girls who was on it, one of the women, I should say, who was on it. And these chicks who were feminists, as far as I could see, or at least one of them was, they were arguing that women used to get married older in years gone by. And so I'm saying to them, and I believe I'm correct on this, but I'll ask you guys for your opinion in a sec. I believe that in the ancient world, in the Middle Ages, and even in the 18th and 19th century, it was quite common for women to get married at 18, 19, 20, or sometimes in the ancient world, particularly even younger than that. And very often they married guys who were like 28 or 30. This was common. Am I wrong about that? Because I don't think I am.
I think the guys were usually a bit younger as well, but it also varies. Like if you're looking at like the nobility versus the commoners.
Yes, this is what we were talking about this.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, if you look at ancient Rome, for example, which I know a little bit about because I'm interested in it, it was very common for a 16-year-old girl to marry a 28 or 30-year-old bloke. Very common. But that also used to happen in the Middle Ages, and it happened in the 18th and 19th century too. But I mean, you know, the girls got a little bit older. They were generally 18 or 19 rather than 16 by the 18th and 19th century. I mean, I think you're right, Farian. The lower orders, shall we say, like if you weren't the aristocracy, the guys were also younger. They were probably 24.
Because it's
25.
You know, it was generally like you've got a few girls and a few guys in the village. So
yeah, exactly right. But you know, it's a nonsense to try and claim that women in the past got married at much older ages.
What's the average age now? Like 35 or something?
Yeah, I think
it definitely wasn't. It definitely wasn't older than that.
It wasn't even 25.
I mean, anything
I guarantee it. It wasn't even 25 back in the day for women. For women, I mean.
Yeah.
I think you'd be surprised, actually.
Sometimes, Adam, and I'm not saying there weren't exceptions, but in general,
not even exceptions. Though I was really surprised. I can't remember what it was, but I was really, really quite surprised when I saw the average age that women got married at in England in like the 1600s. I think it was in the 20s, but I'm not sure if it was quite mid-20s or if it was just before. But it was older than I thought it would be.
If you read what's her name, the lady who wrote all those Regency era books about naval officers and stuff, and in fact her brother was a naval officer. Christ, I can't remember what she's called now. She says that women of 25 in those days were often being called old maids. And this is like about 1815 or thereabouts, you know.
I do think England was a bit later than some other countries as well at this time. I think I've heard this before, that we didn't really rush into marriage as quickly as some others.
But it was pretty common for women to be younger. I mean, even my mother, and you're talking about, she got married in the late 50s, 1950s. She was 19, I think, when she got married. And my dad was about 24, something like that. I think that was pretty average for those days.
I mean, two of my grandparents, I think they were about 30 when they got married. And that's, I think that's about 1950 again.
Yeah, I was in my 30s when I got married, but I mean, that was in the 1990s. So, I mean, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But in the old days, Jane Austen, thank you very much to Ratchgrant 8640 in the chat. Yeah, Jane Austen is who I was thinking of. And it wasn't Barbara Cartland, by the way, Barndor. I've read some Jane Austen. I haven't read any Barbara Cartland, I'm happy to say. But yeah. But yeah, I mean, look, people are definitely getting married much later now. And even when they do get married, they're often not having any children, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. And ultimately, when you do that, we die out if you don't get married and have children. I'm sorry, we just do.
Yeah. The children are the bigger issue than the marriage. I mean, the marriage is nice and all, but it's not. That's not what continues the people.
Well, yeah, but you kind of want to be married when you have children, although divorce is so easy in Western countries these days that it doesn't actually give the children much more security, which was the original idea of it, really, by the way, was if you got married and had children, your family was a unit and it stayed a unit because it was difficult to get divorced. Now, anyone can have a whim and just say, okay, I'm going to get divorced, and they do. And of course, if you're a dude and you're married and you get divorced, you'll lose everything pretty much, or well, at least you'll lose 50% of everything you've got, because we live in a feminist society, basically.
Yeah, it worries me how women have been propagandized to that men don't want kids. I have this theory that's kind of like the selfish boomerism, just pushing a type of boomerism onto the younger generations, as well as feminism, like a boomer feminist sort of.
Well said, Martin. I am a follower of Dave the Distribuist, the American chap, and I'd love to get him on a stream at some point. And I'm actually a moderator on his YouTube channel. I'm only a moderator on 2 channels. One's Dave's, and the other one is Apostolic Majesties. But Dave did a good stream this week, which was precisely about what you're talking about, Mercian. It was about the combination of feminism and propaganda to women and boomerism. And if you haven't watched that, I'd advise people to go and have a look at that. It's a good stream.
I hadn't seen that. That was just genuinely my take of it. Just obviously my parents are boomers, and you kind of get a sense of what boomers are all about. Well, you get to see boomerism. I mean, reform is peak boomerism, that the Richard Toy sort of thing. Well, I'll be long dead before any of those problems happen. It's sort of peak boomer mindset.
You saw and the old bird in the horrible shiny pantsuit with all the fireworks going off. Oh my God, that was cringe.
You saw that same attitude in COVID as well. Like when everyone concerns about this is going to be really damaging, all the boomers are like, I'll be dead. Great. Thanks.
Yeah. It's so if I'm dead, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I don't know what your parent. Who are the parents of the boomers? The greatest generation.
For mine, the greatest generation.
Yeah, no, be the lost generation, wouldn't it? Oh no, greatest generation. Greatest generation.
Mine the greatest generation. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because I think I'm the only one on this panel at the moment who's got a son, and it definitely does give you a different perspective because, I'm not the world's fittest bloke these days. I've had a triple heart bypass operation, so I don't think I'm probably not going to see out the decade. I don't know. If I do, I'll be happily surprised. But when you've got a son, you think much longer term, because when you got a son, you think, well, I worry about my son, but I also, he's going to have children. So that sort of thing. It does change your perspective when you have kids.
I know, but I don't like picking on the boomers because hashtag not all. as a demographic, that the boomers don't seem to have had that realization.
No. Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't know what went wrong. Like for all, like generally the whole history is about
most spoilt generation ever is what I would say.
Probably, yeah.
They were the richest generation ever. The Western economies were booming for the most part. You could buy a house damn cheap. When my father bought a house in London, and it was a shitty house in a shitty bit of London, but it was still a house that he bought. And he was a labourer, right?
Mhm.
My dad was a labourer, and my mum worked part-time as a telephonist, someone connecting phone calls in those days. And my dad was able to buy a house in London with no problem. It wasn't difficult. So yeah, this is what has happened. These generation of boomers who are just a little bit younger than me, they were able to become very wealthy quite easily just by buying property. And because of the policies that governments have pursued, and let's be fair, the people supporting Enoch Powell in the early 1970s were boomers, right?
Mhm.
They were. And every British election, people have voted for parties who lied to them and said, oh no, we're going to reduce mass verbal immigration. And they were just lied to every single time. And they didn't have anyone else to vote for. I mean, all right, I suppose you had the British National Party for a while and what have you, but only in some seats.
I think one of the issues is the real entitlement that the boomers have. It's like they'll say, "Oh yeah, we don't want all the foreigners," but when it comes to, okay, well, are you willing to give up your pension? Whoa, hold on now, there, Sonny. I pulled myself up by my bootstraps for this pension. No.
And you should do the same. And you should do the same, Farian. Even though you can't, because you're going to be on a 0-hour contract, and you're going to be competing against people who are mostly third-world immigrants who will work for peanuts.
Because there's this attitude also there, like they paid for their pension. No, you didn't. You paid for your parents' pension, right? We are supposed to be paying for your pension, but there's not enough. Hence the foreigners. And it's just the amount. I think is a precious few amount of boomers who are actually willing to sort of endure that, to give up any sort of material stuff in favor of a better future for their grandchildren, it seems.
I mean, because everyone was picking on the millennials for a while, and to be honest, quite rightly so. But I mean, it started with the boomers. It really did, and it's been getting progressively worse, generation upon generation. Maybe some of the newer generations, some of the younger Gen Zs and the Alphas might start turning it around because they're realizing what they're inheriting. But generally,
I do worry about the young generation Alphas, because they are so fucking thick. Like they can't read, they can't tell what the time is on a clock even, right? It's just totally, they've just been cooked since birth, really.
Oh, and I'm guessing what generation sort of the formative years grew up during COVID, like, toddler age?
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what.
You combine their sort of rootlessness with also like a complete like no attention span at all, and you see you see these young people on like Twitter's a real hotbed for this stuff. You'll see these people and they're ortho bros one week, and then they convert to Catholicism like a couple weeks later, and they're just constantly jumping around. Even the ones that are supposed to be like quote unquote trad are just like flip flopping around everywhere, because they don't really know how to see anything through, and they also don't even really recognize what like an authentic connection to something even feels like. So they are like the last man, as it were.
It's I mean, I don't know how you fix that, really. They're like the fact that they can't even read.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I mean, I was quite surprised. I mean, I think Aaron Hook in Discord, I think I don't know if he was the one that mentioned it, but he talked about it. That there's like there's like a whole sort of like almost like group of young people who form like the like book talk essentially on TikTok, and they can't read books that are like written in the third person. They can only read stuff that's in first person, and it's like these are the ones that can read.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, seriously.
Wow. I mean, look, I had enough problems understanding Keir Starmer, who apparently doesn't have an internal dialogue. I mean, when I'm walking along the road, I'm always having a conversation with myself in my head.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought everyone was like that, to be honest, but you know, whatever.
I can see a world where where Keir Starmer has a really nasty accident, and rather than a wound, we start to see machinery start to appear.
Yeah. And also, like with the young kids, because it's all I don't like with the AI. That's not going anywhere, and I feel like that's sort of really just destroying any chance they do have. Because they can't, because they just.
You say it's not going anywhere. It is, but I've actually been experimenting with AI recently, and in terms of writing, it can do things quite well in very short passages.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get a bit longer, it starts to repeat itself.
Yeah.
It gets into loops, and you know, all that kind of thing.
But the kids in school at the moment, they have just exported all their thinking to ChatGPT. They can't write essays. They can't write anything. They're sort of the book reviews that they're sort of told to do. They just go ask ChatGPT. So they can't.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know how.
It's like Idiocracy wasn't a prophecy. It's more of an instruction manual.
And I don't see.
It's like you get there are YouTube creators, right? There are YouTube channels with 500,000 subscribers who get their prompts from things like ChatGPT. You know, when they'll put a news story into that, and ChatGPT's answer, or Grok, or whatever it might be, will be the basis of their podcast. There are and some of these channels have got like 500,000 subscribers. I'm not going to say the quartering, but I could, you know. But you know,
well, look, you didn't.
Yeah, I can't see a way out of it for kids really, because and you need a radical shift really. I think in the education system, a lot of. Because there's no motivations there for them to actually learn, you know, the old-fashioned just learn to read.
Mate, when I was at school, right, I remember teachers who wouldn't yet let us use a pocket calculator.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't. They just said, no, you can't do that. Mitch, I've got your chat on the screen at the moment, mate. I have sent you the invite, by the way, so I hope you'll come and join us. Sorry, carry on, Darren.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in school, I feel like the focus from what I feel like it should be about, like teaching kids how to think, how to logic through things, how to reason. That was not quite where it should have been. But these days, this is just nothing. It's just brainwashing now, really. It's like, make sure you have the right opinions, kids.
Well, what they want is they want smart enough people to operate the machines, but not smart enough to overthrow them.
Yeah.
That's where the education works. That's why. I mean, ideally, I would. I mean, as someone who took philosophy in university, I would like to see philosophy at minimum of sort of teenage level. Like, so you know, sort of like was it key stage 3? Is it?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and the trivium and things like that. You know, let's get people thinking again, because quite frankly, we need more than people who can operate the machines.
Mm-hmm. I do feel like if you've like been following Nvidia's stuff recently, how they're sort of transitioning from a a gaming GPU company into an AI infrastructure company. Their vision is basically, so there will be billions of AI assistants. Everyone's got their AI assistant, and it seems to be they seem to want to transition humanity into a world where, rather than the AI serving us, we are just, working in the mines to create more energy for the AI. So we are now serving the AI. That's their end goal, it seems. And what are we doing here?
I tell you what, guys, I think, the whole Skynet thing, right? And by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, the British defence satellites are called Skynet, by the way. No joke, they are. But yeah, I think the whole Skynet thing, where AI becomes aware and then decides to wipe out humanity, that's not impossible, if you ask me. It's not.
I see some people thinking because that's artificial general intelligence. And some of these tech guys, these tech companies, they're hoping they can get that in 10 years. I think that's wildly optimistic, because there's a huge jump from what we have now, which is kind of just algorithms that can look intelligent, but they're not. There's no intelligence actually there to creating actual intelligence like that. There's a big jump there. Just because our current AI can mimic intelligence doesn't mean it is.
Look, I'll tell you what. Look, in terms of defense intelligence, for example, you can have a drone, or sorry, a missile. Let's say a missile that can distinguish a target and aim for that target. What it can't do is, in a big war, it can't decide that target's already been hit. Say, I'm talking now about naval stuff. So say you've got missiles aiming at ships. What AI cannot do at the moment is it can't distinguish between a naval ship, which is already hit and therefore not a threat, to one that hasn't been hit yet. It can't do that yet. But that's a matter of time that it will be able to work out. Hang on, there's a fire on that ship, or that ship is flooded, right? And they'll be able to do that then.
Well, don't they say the military's 20 years ahead? Because as I understood it, I came across an article that DARPA and IBM were working together, and they had an AI called Aladdin back in the 90s. I think it's something else. I think it's between DARPA and IBM that came up with it. And I think it worked rudimentary, not too dissimilar to AI as it stands today.
Yeah.
This stuff is only going to get better. Let me tell you this, guys. It's only going to get better. And
I hope so.
there is going to become a point when it will jump. There is, in my humble opinion.
Well, Google have given AI what they're calling artificial agent intelligence, which means it can preempt things and do things of its own agency, i.e., without a prompt. So, I mean,
it's also funny that most of the AIs, unless you heavily curate them, they almost always become racist. But that's only because they use logic, right? And logically, you should be racist. That's why all humans are. But, let's not talk about that. We'll get in trouble on YouTube, But it's true.
No, it's right. I actually, speaking of logic, I saw a video of a Charlie Kirk style video, but obviously not Charlie Kirk, of a woman interviewing someone who was protesting against ICE agents, and they were on some kind of quad or campus grounds, and they were claiming it was a safe space and she shouldn't leave. And she pointed out to them that if they're sort of protesting against ICE, they should let her be there because you're against, fenced off spaces, and that the logic abort Rurty Fowlers, and they all logic crashed around them. No, they had no response.
It's a bit like Mercian. If a man does anything to a woman who is his spouse, his wife or his girlfriend, in Australia, you can slam a door loudly or shout at a woman, and she can call the cops on you. And even if you own that house, right, the cops will eject you from that house. This is not a lie. This is the truth. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if your woman is 6'2" and 150 pounds and you're 5'1" and 50 pounds, right? Doesn't make any difference. If you're a man, that's it. You're done, right? And God's honest truth, this is the law in Australia, right? This is the law here. So any woman can get any bloke chucked out of his own house that he owns or pays the rent for. Doesn't make any difference, does it? Just by saying, oh no, he was violent to me and I felt scared, right? But
if you
but hang on, guys, let me finish my point. But we're supposed to have women in the military. We're supposed to have women in the army, women in the navy. There is something that doesn't compute in those two things, don't you think, guys?
If you phone the police, do they take your side?
No.
Because I think in the US, I think in the US, the police are a bit better about that. Like if the man calls, because
they might be, but I'm telling you, right, that I mean, in theory, maybe in Australia that's the case, but trust me, like no 6'2" bloke is going to get his 5'5" woman trucked out of his place by the cops. Nobody is. The cops would laugh at you, including the women cops who will almost certainly appear. They would laugh at you.
There is like a lot of domestic violence is started by women. And there's like, how do you deal with that? Because if you then just go around and smack her, then, well, you're now the one in trouble.
This comes round to our earlier topic about marriage and everything, because like I think a lot of men are sort of like, why the hell would I invite a psychopath into my life?
Yeah, you have to be especially dumb these days to want to get married. I don't.
Yeah.
Like I remember one time.
Hang on, Mitch. Look. I like girls. All right, girls they can be very beautiful. They can be really cute. They can be amusing, and they're nice. But what you have to be these days is really, really careful who you pick as a girlfriend. That's what I would say, Mitch. Anyway,
I think that's part of the reason why the average age is 35 now. Sorry, Mitch.
Like what? Like you think of like I'm 25. I don't see myself ever getting married because I don't trust any woman of my generation. Don't trust any of them.
I bet there's a few good ones, but I mean, finding one is going to be.
Yeah, well, is Mitch the 6'5" millionaire, self-employed millionaire yet? To the one good ones would go after.
I've met some good women. There are some good women out there even today, but I understand it. They're getting thin on the ground.
Yeah, they definitely are. I'd say that.
One of the main problems of my generation's women is like, so you try and engage conversation with them, and it's like we're just on their phones. It's just. So, for example, I saw like a young woman. I'd have to say like 28 or 29. Like she had a kid on her arm, and she's just looking at her phone, and she's walking in the woods. She's not paying any attention to the nature around her. She's just on the phone, not even paying attention to her kid either, who's just staring at me. Not at all. She's focused on the phone.
Have you seen some towns around the place? They've started putting painting like road signs and stuff on the ground, so that people can see them while they're looking down at their phone.
I tell you what you need, Mitch. You need my immigration policy. Let me sell it on. let me sell it to you. We let all the hot women into the country. No men, zero men, only hot women. Right? Usually from they appreciate a good man. I don't know. Say Eastern European, Slavic women, for example.
Yep, I'd agree with that one, Mercy. Yep. Lots of very pretty Russian girls and what have you. Yep, for sure.
Yeah, and honestly, if we imported them en masse, the English women would take that stick from up their arse and get their act together, and we'd be saved. And unironically,
I'm going to have to put Alman on the spot here, because we've talked about this subject quite a few times on this channel. And Adam, what's your view on modern women and dating and all this? Because I would honestly be interested.
I haven't really got much of an opinion on it. I think to be honest, I'm just old enough that I missed a lot of the shit, because when I talk to a lot of younger people, they all kind of have sort of similar opinions to Mitch. Whereas if I date women that are sort of within my age range, let's say like 5 years, right, younger or so, I don't see that sort of issue. But as soon as you speak to people that are younger than that and dating younger than that, you seem to encounter all the same problems. So I don't really have particularly strong opinions on it, to be honest.
So you're talking about chicks in their 20s, basically, Armin, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Look, I'm way older than you, and I've always found the same thing. So yeah, fair enough.
But it's like, I don't know. I'm kind of even against the Ali G policy, though, because it sounds a little too close to race mixing for me. But
no, I get where you're coming from.
I can't say a word about this, guys. I'm going to be perfectly honest. My current girlfriend is Japanese and in Australia.
Disavow.
She's moved up to girlfriend then.
Yeah.
Well, no. My current woman I'm seeing.
Okay. We're working on it.
No. She's not moving in with me. It's not going to happen. Trust me. I like my own space too much. But the chick that I'm seeing, so that I'm not effectively gay, is Japanese. And yeah, she's nice. And she's very racist, like most Japanese people. She doesn't even like Filipinos, never mind anybody else. So there we go.
Well, I'll double down on my position, because I suppose it is a bit of a meme, but I'm genuinely serious about my immigration policy, because so far the immigration to this country has been, well, men. I mean, I'm not saying that English women go for those men, but there's most English women are going after like 5% of men.
Yeah,
and I think we need to, give the competition to the women a little bit. You know what I mean? We need to knock them down a peg or two, and fast. And if you think of another way of knocking them down a peg or two, I'm all ears.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong, Mercy. And can I just say to Roll Biscuits in the chat, she does watch this stream, yes.
Oof.
She won't get offended by anything people say on this stream either, because she is much more racist than I am, and anyone who knows me knows I'm pretty racist. All right.
So do we take even Operation Bleachkrieg as a success then?
I'll tell you something, right? I presume, Mitch, that by that you mean my fondness for blondes. No, I'm not going to get a Japanese girl to get blonde. All right, I'm not.
That wasn't it.
Oh, in that case, I don't know what you're talking about then, because she is just about as white as I am. But anyway, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking about McDonald's advert back in the mid-70s, where they sort of tried to market McDonald's to Japanese people by going, well, if Japanese people eat the same food as our white people do, then they'll get taller, but women will get bigger tits, and their hair will go blonde.
Well, I won't say anything about that, except that she has perfectly respectable tits. That's the only thing I'm going to say. But there we go.
That's unusual for East Asian women, I find.
Not particularly for Japanese girls, to be honest. Like they're not huge, but they're perfectly respectable.
Well, that's the thing. Since like the end of World War II, like it has been noted that Japanese men have been going taller and women have been getting bigger tits. I reckon a big part of that is because loads of protein.
More meat in the diet. Yes.
No, it's the radiation. Sure. It's the radiation from the bombs. It increases mammary gland size. You're welcome, Japan.
Well, we didn't do that, Fariam, and I'm sure you wouldn't want to take. I'm sure you wouldn't want to take.
Heavens forbid.
Credit.
Heavens
you
forbid.
Wouldn't want to take credit for anything the Americans did, Fariam. You'd be the last guy to do that.
I mean, it was basically us that put in most of the legwork on making those.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
This is true. This is true, Adam. Yeah, this is true. And the Americans then wouldn't give us the secrets of the bomb. Although, of course, some of their small hat Americans did pass them to the Russians. But there we go.
No, that doesn't count, Duke. That doesn't count. That's a conspiracy theory.
Although it's true, and the Americans executed them, I believe. But anyway, whatever. Although, Britain can't say anything. We had loads of Oxford and Cambridge intellectuals, in inverted commas, who were committed communists and passing everything over to the Stalin and the Soviets. So, same thing.
Yep.
I was going to make a "me love you long time" joke, but that might trigger some sort of inter-Asian racism that I, as a Western white man, don't fully comprehend.
I've got to say that I like my girl saying "sucky sucky long time" $5, and like I said, she watches this show and she will laugh. Trust me.
So what was that case? Was it like was it like an Albanian woman working like a top American firm where like she was saying, "Oh, look at my cannons," and she was saying, "Oh, I bet your fish-head Asian wife can't comprehend this."
That was all fake, right? Yeah, you heard that was all fake.
It's all real in my head.
One last thing I will say on my immigration policy. It's nice that the Restorer have brought in might bring it in partially, making it easier to marry foreign women. I do notice that.
Yeah. Restore have said that. They said if a British person marries someone from abroad, they're going to make it easier for them to become British, and I agree with that. I think that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Just male British, female foreign.
Way around. Got to put that clause in. Yeah. Women, no. You're still not marrying foreign.
Well, what we'll say about him, Kevin Blakelock will stop voting Restore now.
God.
I don't know. I never get upset when I see some enormously fat British woman marrying a foreigner, because I think, well, at least you're not inflicting that on a British guy. But anyway.
The thing is,
it's just Nigerian princes doing that, well, isn't it?
Yeah. Despite the issues with Western women, they actually do still largely stick to their own.
Oh yeah.
It's just that
it's
a pain in the ass to deal with. Yeah.
No, you're right, Armin. Look, but I will say, British girls, even in my lifetime, have gotten so much fatter. Like, not all of them. I'm not talking about all of them, but in general, the number of fat women in Britain is way up on what it
Yeah.
used to be in like the 1980s. It's
Yeah.
way higher. And I'm sorry, if you're fat, you can just as well be black. I'm not going near you. You know, I'm just not.
I think Britain's the fattest country in Europe as well, which is much to our shame, really. We sort of
we're the most Americanized.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like the second highest fat ratio in the world after America is Australia, which is also pretty Americanized.
I thought it was Mexico.
No, I think it's Australia in terms of like white Western nations. I mean, Mexico's not a white Western nation, but I think it's America, Australia, then Britain. I think.
Although, to be fair as well, I think for Britain, a lot of that is one, Scotland, two, non-whites.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Mm.
Well, I can only say I used to have an extremely beautiful blonde, natural blonde, Scottish girl who was not fat. But there we go.
I'll just say this: a lot of fat women are part of the benefits underclass in big cities.
Yeah. This is I've seen Edward Dutton talking about this recently, like how working class is attributed to people who they're just underclass scum. They don't work. They don't do anything.
You're talking about benefit class, is what you mean, Darren.
Yeah.
But the working class used to work, which kind of tends to make you not fat. But you know.
Yeah, well, it's like Angela Rayner. She's just been a slag her whole life. And she's fat. So yeah.
I think
people call her chip shop dead.
She's also ugly, but I mean, you know, apart from that.
Yeah, I think the working class are sort of like what we would now call the dinos, the townies, maybe a few like post chavs, but like I think most fat women are going to be part of that benefits class, and the benefits class is growing all the time because that's the state's incentivizing it. So that might be what you're seeing, Duke.
Yes, I mean, I know like there was a big debate this week between Steve Laws and Sargon over giving like children free bus travel over a 6-week holiday, which I just thought was stupid because
that was really retarded. I thought, like, haven't we been through this? Like, that's not free. You know, we're just being taxed for that. And especially for like Steve Laws, like the nationalist side of things, you know, it's going to the foreign kids as well, right?
Yeah, but it shouldn't. If it just went to British kids and it enabled British kids to go from, say, London to visit HMS Victory or London to visit the Devil's Punch Bowl, which is a beauty site, or Whipsnade Zoo, if it was just going to real British kids, then I would absolutely support that because, you know, you should be able to go and travel to these places and go and visit these things. That would be my view. I don't know what you think, Mitch. What was your take on that?
Of all the things to argue about in our circles, I thought that was stupid, but also it's just a matter of, well, right, so I know there's an outlet called Outpost Media, which, in fact, Jerome O'Reilly, that guy, and that kind of circle of the right, or whatever you want to call them, where it's basically like they say, well, if you don't agree with stuff like you know, this free bus travel for kids, then basically, you know, they'll say essentially that you are like a self-loathing, like misanthropic towards your own people kind of stuff. And I'm sort of thinking, I'd much prefer if we just went back to being more self-sufficient. I mean, God, because it's like everything is all about, well, the state has to give more things to people. And so, well, no, how much of it is just parents? And that's the thing. It's like with stuff like that, it's just you're taking away from parents' responsibility.
Yeah,
in favor of the state just doing everything, and it's just.
Can I ask you guys stuff? Right? Now you're all younger than I am. I think Mitch is probably sorry. I think Adaman is probably the oldest one of you, and Adaman's only in his 30s.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say it like that.
Mate, your 30s is that's your prime of life, mate.
I feel so old now, though. I feel so old.
No. Hang on, Adaman. Honestly, if I could stay one age for the whole of my life, it would be between 30 and 40. Right, that is a bloke's best age.
I saw a post on Instagram the other day, and it was like, what would the ages of the various soprano actors be if the pilot was filmed today?
Oh,
and
yeah.
James Gandolfini, as like a mafia boss, is like the same age as me. And I just felt myself just like wrinkle up.
No. Serious, guys, serious. If you want admiration from women and you want to be the best you'll ever be, if you're a guy, as Barn Door in the chat said, you want to be about 35, but anywhere between 30 and 50 would be fine for me. That's the age you want to be as a bloke. Not as a girl. As a girl, you want to be in your 20s, but as a man, 30 to 50 is the age you want to be. But no, what I wanted to ask you guys is, when you were kids, did your parents take you to like historically and culturally significant British places? Because my dad did a lot.
Not my parents so much, but more my uncle. But same thing, yeah. But like, I mean, there are plenty of my generation that had just had poor parenting. And,
all right. Let me change that, Mitch, from what you've said. Did your family take you to those places? Is all I'm really asking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love going to castles.
Well, I suffered with caravan holidays. Does that count?
Yeah,
mate,
I went to
my dad used to take me to Swalcliffe, right, which is near Herne Bay in Kent. I think it's in Kent, isn't it?
Yeah, Swalcliffe's lovely.
Yeah, my dad used to take me to Swalcliffe. And we used to stay in a chalet, but I loved it when I was a little kid. It was great. We used to go to the beach. We'd go to the country area just behind where there was a river, and you could see water voles and things like that. But yeah, it was great. I loved it. I didn't mind that. But he also took me to things like he took me to St. Paul's Cathedral, Canterbury Cathedral, HMS Victory, the Tower of London, London Zoo. That's the kind of thing I'm kind of asking you guys about.
Dover Castle was always my favourite. I went there a few times.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. It is.
I went to a lot of Cotswolds historic locations, touristy things. We used to go to Weston Park, which is a big sort of manor type place. But it's sort of like it. I mean, there's someone there, Richard Hughes there. It's sort of like if you've ever been on a caravan holiday, I don't know why people do them, because you basically pitch up and sit in a field waiting for something to do, and everything is broken. My dad used to complain about going on a caravan holiday. He's sort of like, this is more stressful than staying at home. I'm forever got a screwdriver in my hand fixing shit.
But that was half the fun.
Yeah,
that was half the fun. It's like when you went camping. The tent would leak a bit, but then you'd go fishing. It was cool. I used to love that shit when I was a kid. Anyway.
Yeah, so the thing is, I've got like this like really good camping setup. Now, I'll be honest, I don't really like camping. I only really do it because I'll go and do hikes, and of course the tent is a means by which you can do certain long distance hikes and get to sort of really remote places, and not have to stay in like a hostel somewhere.
Atman saying glamping or nothing.
No, exactly. And you know, British men have always been known as adventurers. I mean, that's kind of how we conquered a third of the world, because we're adventurers and we wanted to go and see what was behind the next hill, you know, or down the next ocean. That's what British guys do, and it's cool. It's part of our charm.
Yeah, it's like I can say from my part, like, you know, in terms of British destinations, in terms of like let's say Stafford Castle, Warwick Castle, Carnarvon, Pembroke, it will largely be of like my family. But let's say, for example, abroad. So I remember one time going to Cyprus where like the tombs of the kings my mother took me to. Like, I mean, this was like 10 years ago, and it's like, you know, and it's that was kind of. But I will say for my part, I mean, I can only speak for myself. Like, I will say one thing. So yeah, I would say that there were plenty of guys in my situation where I didn't really have much of a good father growing up. So I didn't really have that masculine role model growing up. So that's why, for example, I'm for conscription. I think conscription would do a lot of us a lot of good. And it's like that's one thing is like when I suppose that's the main problem with men is like, you know, as much as we can talk about women being particularly bad, because it's funny how the women who are least oppressed are often the ones coming out thinking that every male wants to rape them.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, my grandmother, she was born the same year as a queen, like 1926, and it's like, you know, like supposed to say, it's like, you know, if everyone would be able, like my grandmother, yeah, like, you know, we like the dating market would be in a much better situation because my grandmother, she was what 19, 20 when she got married, and she only had been with one bloke, my granddad, and it's like, yeah. Meanwhile, you do look at let's say women of my generation, yeah, better look. Or
been riding the cock carousel hard.
Yeah. This is the thing about young girls these days, and it's true. Tharium, that is absolutely true. I was talking to Craig, the Scottish guy, one of the Scottish guys on our Discord today, and he's waiting for a mate of his to come back from a visit to America, and he's going on a holiday in Scotland, and I was telling him about the Summer Isles, right? And excuse me, guys. The Summer Isles are quite close to Oban in Scotland, and Oban's a great place to go to because you can watch the ferries going out to all the western Scottish Isles. But you can also get a trip to the Summer Isles there. And the Summer Isles, if you go in the summer, as the name suggests, you'd think you were in the Caribbean. The water is so clear that even if it's 12 or 15 foot deep, you can see right to the bottom of it. It's just so clear. There are seals and porpoises and dolphins, and it's really, really beautiful, you know? And so if you're a British guy, you can go and see shit like that easily. I mean, obviously, if you're a Scottish guy, even easier. But like anyone from Britain can go there. And it's just absolutely beautiful. Never underestimate the attractions of going to visit various parts of the British Isles, for example. Lothar Sheffield was saying the midges on Sky are terrible. The midges everywhere are terrible, Lothar Sheffield. All right, they just are. You use some anti-mozzie spray, you'll be all right. You won't die. And you can't catch malaria there either, which I have had from West Africa. So there you go.
Well, the funny thing is, like, I mean, we're talking to midges. I mean, I suppose people have seen that clip where, like, you got Rupert Lowe talking about, you know, sending boat migrants to a midge-infested island. And you got a female candidate, that, what's her name, Rebecca something, Rebecca Shepherd, I think it was. And she's sort of turning her head going, and I'm sort of thinking, having a female candidate really was a mistake.
90% of women are like that, Mitch. The women have this natural not wanting to upset anyone, right? Or at least 90% of them do. And that is why feminism is such a bad thing, right? It just is, because women have it's great when it's about puppies, but it's not great when it's about immigrants, you know.
Yeah, look,
and trust me, I prefer puppies to immigrants every single time.
One of the things with her that did come up with was her horse therapy stuff. And I've got to say, I know someone who's got a very mentally disabled daughter, and like physically as well, she's got problems. And yeah, they do a lot of horse riding therapy for that, and it's really good for these kids.
Yeah, no, horses are great for that. So are dogs, by the way, Theron. Yeah. Horses and dogs, they don't care if you have mental problems. They'll just be kind anyway. And trust me, one of the ways I'm not totally traditionally manly is that I love animals. I think they're great. And particularly,
I don't think that's just a
no, it's not. My granddad who was one of the toughest British soldiers there's ever been, and he loved animals. But the point is, like dogs and horses, if you've got someone who's got a mental problem, they will help you immensely because they don't care about your mental problem. They'll just interact with you in a natural way, in the way that you can understand. So I think you're totally right about that, Farian. I do.
I've always found horses, they're quite intuitive about how people are feeling, really, and they can feed off people's emotions quite well.
Yep, same as dogs. Same as dogs. If you're depressed, if you got a dog and you've had that dog for a long time and you're depressed, the dog will come and lay his head in your lap because he will know you're depressed, and he will say, I'm going to come and cheer my human up, because they're just kind and good and like innocent. They're just lovely. Like I would shoot people who were unkind to dogs and horses, frankly. I would happily shoot them.
That thing you posted earlier, has the Quartering also been shocking his dogs?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he said it worse.
No, he said he did. He said he shocks them when he walks them in public.
Oh, it just gets worse. What is that fucking long cow doing?
Yeah. No. Look, he's an arse, mate. He's an arse.
Even when he was doing that podcast with Ken Duncan and Baring, I went. There's something about him. He doesn't have the physiognomy of someone based. That's all I'm saying.
No, absolutely. I always thought that Count Dankula, who's a nice Scottish guy, and Baring, who's a nice Australian guy, were fine. But the Quartering was always a CUNT as far as I was concerned. But yeah, no, he shocks his dogs. He even made excuses for that left-wing scumbag.
I was wondering.
Yeah. He made excuses for him because he shocks his dogs. Yeah. And of course, now he's flagging down YouTube channels who don't like it.
Is the Quartering like the beard guy that does the...
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like does gaming stuff, does like
really low energy.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't do gaming. He can't do gaming.
Are you thinking of Asmongold?
Yeah, he's terrible.
No, the giant fat
gaming.
One.
Yeah, that's Quartering. Yeah, Gerard.
Yeah, the Quartering. He is a scumbag.
Someone said he started a coffee company, but it turned out it was all like a.
It's a white goods coffee company that's not his.
Because I used to watch his stuff because, like, I quite like Ken Duncan and Baring, and I don't know what Count Dankler said about the quartering, but I've seen what Behrens said about the quartering.
I think Dankula sort of got quite annoyed with it, like all the channel being taken down as well.
Yeah, Dankula is a good guy. He's a good Scottish guy, and I don't think he has any space for the quartering anymore.
Yeah.
Wait, what, the quartering took down his channel?
Oh no, he took down many other people's channels.
Kino Casino, like Andy Warski's.
Yeah, but not just them. Loads of others as well.
Andy Warski was still around.
Yeah,
oh, yeah. Andy Warski is better than the quartering, mate. Trust me.
But didn't Andy Warski get outed for like soliciting a minor or something? Or am I thinking of someone else?
No. He got outed for being a bit of a coke addict, and he was. But he got rid of that and he came back. But and trust me, I am not a big Andy Warski or PPP channel follower. Like PPP with his shouting drives me insane.
See, after your comments earlier, I'm just feeling older and older by the second. I don't know what any of this.
Yeah. But all right. But you've got to understand, and this is going back to about 2016.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember Andy Warski, like the name. I remember that whole sort of, what do they call it, like the blood sports era and all that stuff.
Yeah. You know, like 2016. But
I remember watching those streams. And I remember them getting trending. Oh, sorry, Duke.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, Mercy. But the quartering was around then, and he got away with everything because he was so milk toast that even YouTube never got upset with it, right?
Yeah.
But he did. He's admitted he shocks his dogs. He's got like 3 Alsatians, and he gets them to wear shock collars. I'm sorry. If you get your dog to wear shock collars, I'd make you wear one.
Yeah.
I really would.
Do you know what the quartering reminds me of? And here's a blast from the past, if you remember this name. Do you guys remember Mundane Matt?
I never watched him, but I
Yeah, I remember Boulder Matt. Yeah, that's the guy.
that's the quarter. And he had Mundane Matt had that similar moment. Maybe not as harsh as the quartering, but he started to get a lot of problems for his opinions and being a bit too well. Again, that type of physiognomy.
It never trust a fat. Yeah,
never trust anyone who's fat. There's something.
Look, don't get me wrong, right? I'm not an Andy Warski fan, and like I said, PPP's shouting, like I can't listen to him for longer than about 3 minutes. But the quarry, Jeremy Hambley, I think his name is.
Yeah,
he is getting channels taken down from YouTube, and the reason he's doing it is that he's a married guy, right? And he's a married guy.
I know.
Yeah, and he says on streams, because his wife is a vegetarian, that her vagina smells bad, right? On streams, he says this, right? And even if your wife's vagina didn't smell very nice, why would you say that on streams? But his best friend is also a small hat bull. You couldn't make this up, right? His best friend for years is a JEW bull who advertises on like sex sites in America that he will come and screw your wife.
Yeah.
And this is the truth, right? And you couldn't make this shit up. And yet Jeremy Hambley tries to claim that he is right wing.
He's also taken up more, I think, in the past year or something, like this whole "I'm a good little Christian boy" act, which makes it even more just, shut up, man. Another one of these, like,
apparently he goes to church after watching his small hat bull do his stuff with his wife. I don't know. Look, all of this could be shit as far as I know. But you know what? I wouldn't be following Jeremy Hambley.
What's because another fallen name and someone I looked up to until recently, Styx Hexenhammer's got really drunk. Then
I never looked up to Styx and Hexenhammer. I gotta say, mate, I never did.
I a while ago I did because he monologues so well.
Mercian, right? He moved to the Netherlands, right? Now, I can't remember what she was called now, but there was a cute girl on the right in the Netherlands.
Elizabeth Philosophy, I think.
I can't remember. You might be right, Farah. You might. But she was cute. She was nice. And I think this thing moved to the Netherlands and was living with her, got her pregnant, and she had a child. And then he left her.
Well, I'm not sure what the story is, but it might not have been his child.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
But yeah.
All I know is he was starting to see his so-called groupies. One of them knocked his tooth out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But anyway, this modern day pirate in inverted air quotes is now on the run from the US police, and I don't care, to be honest. He was one of that era of YouTube supposed right wingers when Carl Benjamin was Sargon of Akkad, and
he'll always be Sargon to me.
Yeah, and you had people like, what was he called? The something atheist who actually liked being
amazing atheist.
But he liked being fucked up the bum, apparently. So he was really
stood around.
Right wing. Yeah, I
only saw this the other day. He posts on Instagram. I don't know if he's still on YouTube. But
yeah, I don't follow any of these people, Alman, anymore. But I do remember that 2016 era. I know you do too, because you were around about then as well.
I think all of us were around back then. I mean, I was 15 when all this happened, but I remember.
It's kind of when that's kind of when I sort of got involved with all this sort of stuff. These characters, yeah.
But I never got involved with them. I just.
When I say involved, I meant just like watching kind of. This is sort of.
But again, atheist physiognomy, fat man. There's a through line there, isn't it?
I mean, and with Styx and the Courting also, like you're seeing real like alcohol problems with these guys now. I think, and just how damaging that can be to these guys.
All I'm going to say to Homespard D988 is that Japanese women hold their age extremely well. Like the Japanese girl I'm seeing at the moment is in her late 30s, and most people would say she was in her probably middle or late 20s. So yeah.
Well, to be fair, a lot of millennials.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
To be fair, a lot of millennials I've seen holding their age pretty well as well. From what I've seen, like there were times where, like, you look at a woman in the mid-30s and you think she was like younger than me. At times,
some are awful though. Some are aging really badly, looking really sickly, just looking really weak and sickly and awful. Some of these younger millennials.
Yeah, I think my generation will age pretty awfully. Kind of better than millennials.
Do you guys know the really lovely bikini model Rachel Pizzolaro?
You've posted a few.
I have.
We only know about it because you keep posting about it.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. She's 6
guys,
foot tall.
His girlfriend watches.
Yeah, no, listen, she knows about this. I've watched videos of this with her. Don't worry. But yeah, but Rachel Pizzoleo, who's an American girl, is like 6 foot tall, right? She's got endless legs and a really good body and pretty good tits, I gotta say. And she recently tried out for Victoria's Secret, you know, the underwear company. She was rejected. What a surprise. Because now they want fat black women. So
I thought they'd got over that. I thought they'd realised this has absolutely destroyed our company.
I thought after Sydney Sweeney, they start with those and they just want big tits. But no. But I thought with Sydney Sweeney. Guys, again, Zendaya pushed on us. So
guys, it's like Nolan's Odyssey is coming up. Do not pay to watch that film. It is based on the most feminist translation of Homer that's ever been made, right? That's why Athena is played by an ugly black woman.
Zendaya.
Right? Yeah, just don't. Is it? No, it's not Zendaya.
Yeah, Zendaya she's Athena.
Yeah, I remember there's Travis Scott apparently who's in it. I don't know what.
Oh, sorry. Helen is played by an ugly black woman.
Peter Nyong'o.
Yeah.
She's about 12 Years a Slave film. That's the only thing I know of from.
Yeah, she's not even a pretty black girl. Never known a pretty woman. But you know, whatever. But don't pay money to watch that film, guys.
I don't think
it's totally.
I wouldn't even virus it.
Yeah.
No, I don't watch it, guys. It's just a lie.
It's got no orchestral score in it because Christopher Nolan.
Rap.
Well, exactly. Chris is going, well, they didn't have those instruments then. But yeah, rap music, that's fine.
It's like
and the armor and the clothes are all bollocks. They're nothing like they would have had.
Yeah.
Like
compared to it, the movie Troy was a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I remember that Knight's Tale film with Heath Ledger. Like they said, well, because they have songs like "We Will Rock You" by Queen, because technically orchestras didn't exist back then. So I'm imagining like they'd set it early on, so you didn't have any illusions about the film, what the soundtrack was going to be like. But then you got Travis Scott apparently with the Odyssey, and you start by thinking, like, so. For example, an Egyptian woman you can find on YouTube where she does like ancient Egyptian singing, and you can also find Greek women doing the same in ancient Greek. Like you can find Greek women today doing ancient Greek. Like it's not like we lack a comprehension of what music must have sounded like back in the ancient times. It's a bit tricky.
No, we don't, Mitch. You can find ancient Greek and ancient Roman and ancient Egyptian music. You can, because we've been left enough to recreate it. Yeah, for sure.
There's even ancient Assyrian. There's even ancient Assyrian music and their instruments, because they wrote down how their instruments were made and stuff. So the people have recreated that in some of their songs.
Yeah,
and it's
the Nolan film is anti-white, anti-Western hatred, basically.
Yeah.
And it's Hollywood's last attempt to try and win. They think that if they put this diversity, in air quotes, in a Nolan film, people will watch it. I hope it is the biggest flop of the year.
It's also like you said, because they've gone with this woman who translated it specifically in a feminist lens.
Yes.
Like, if it had just been like the diversity in like a normal like Odyssey kind of thing, that'd be one thing, but no, you're just doubling down on everything.
Yeah.
Also, of course, like with the diversity stuff, there is Memnon, the king of Ethiopia, and I never see him like brought up in any of these sort of things. And like
Haru, how soon do you think Hollywood will make a remake of the life of Shaka Zulu starring a white guy?
Yeah.
How soon?
Never. But I'm wondering, when it comes to this adaptation that Christopher Nolan is making, I wonder if this is some kind of PR rep sort of saying, well, you know that movie you made 1917 full of all these white guys? Well, you need to do this now because you need better PR diversity.
Nolan didn't make 1917, Mersey.
That's Sam Mendes.
Oh, that was Ridley Scott, wasn't it?
Yeah, Nolan didn't. No, it wasn't Ridley Scott either. Nolan didn't make it, but also if you watch 1917 and you watch the extras in it, there's an awful lot of brown people.
Nolan made Dunkirk.
All right.
Oh, sorry. Oh.
Yeah, he made Dunkirk, which was a shit. It was a shit movie.
And Sam Mendes made 1917. But
thank you.
I actually quite like Troy. I'll be honest. And this
I don't mind Troy.
That actually did Homeric epics for my A level, and that's also kind of dated, and it's a product of its time, right? Because it comes from that era of Hollywood where everything had to be gritty and realistic, so they take all like the mythological elements out of it. But like the way like the soldiers will walk onto the battlefield and like introduce themselves and be like, "I'm the son of so and so," like that's actually pretty realistic.
100. Adam and I totally agree. Troy, it's not a desperately accurate translation, but it's a good film.
I think Brad Pitt is a great sort of Achilles, because it's all like his fighting, it's all like totally over the top and silly. But if you are Achilles, it works. You are the greatest warrior to have ever existed. You're going to be cocky. You're going to fight with flair and arrogance and stuff. And I thought Brad Pitt did that well.
And to be fair, Brad Pitt spent 6 months bulking up and getting to look like a warrior. And also, I have to say, the guy who played the much better character in the whole thing,
Eric Bana.
Eric Bana, the Australian actor. He was also excellent in that movie.
Yeah, like the fight they have with spears outside the city gate. Looks like something straight off of a vase.
That was pretty good. It was
off of a fresco. Good.
Yeah, I remember I remember like some people didn't like the Troy film because you have a whole scene about because its perspective is myths, like sort of the mythological aspects of it, such as the Achilles heel. They said, Achilles got pierced by many arrows, but the only one left was the one in his heel. And they said that's how. And I heard like some people didn't like how it tried to demystify some of the myths. And I'm sort of thinking, I didn't really mind that in the film, to be honest. But I get why people didn't like it, because the myths exist for a reason, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's like, you say about Farim about Memnon, but I'm pretty sure Memnon is mentioned in like the first 2 pages of the Iliad.
I know, but it is like a character there that they could an actual diversity character who's actually there, and he's never used. They could make a much bigger deal about him and go, look, you see, it's canon. Memnon's here, but no.
No, they want
to. It's Achilles. Achilles has to be black or transgender.
Look at Agamemnon, the Greek king in Troy, right?
Brian Cox,
who is an excellent British actor. And then look at Agamemnon in Nolan's
I'm Batman
crap, and he looks like Batman, for fuck's sake. Give it a break, guys.
I think his helmet actually was 3D printed as well. Like, they didn't actually make it with actual like. I'm pretty sure the Troy film, they made it with by actual craftsmen were involved in making the helmet.
Yeah. I mean, normal Hollywood stuff is you make like the extras. They're sort of the footmen. Their stuff is cheap, but you have your hero characters. You always need to make their costumes really good. Like Lord of the Rings did this, and they can't even bother with that anymore.
No, I seriously think that this Nolan film is Hollywood's last stand, because they realize that when they make these diversity movies, no one goes and watches them, and they're just hoping, because they've got one of the greatest modern directors to do this, that this will be a success. And I wouldn't go and watch this shit if you paid me.
Yeah,
I mean,
I really wouldn't.
That's actually a good question. Why is it that these directors? So like you got Ridley Scott for obvious reasons. You've got Christopher Nolan with this. You've got James Cameron, who's banking everything on Avatar, which is basically just like a sort of that film series is basically just revenge porn for Native Americans and other just non-whites against us, basically. Yeah. Why is it all these directors are just all hinging on
the original Avatar was Dances with Blue People, basically, Mitch.
Well, yeah, it was basically just it was like a revenge fantasy for Native Americans to have a proxy against white people. I hated that film.
Yeah, and even in that though, they take a character that's supposed to be the villain and they make him like unintentionally incredibly cool, which is something they seem to do a lot, as we've seen recently. But I mean,
Sorry. I just want to hate on Avatar for a second in a really mundane way, because I remember when that film came out, what 2009, 2010 was it, something like that, and it was promoting 3D and everything, and I saw the previews of it and I went, that looks shit, and that was supposed to be state of the art.
Me
and
too.
I don't mean the story. I mean
too,
the effects.
Yeah, me too. I just thought it was crap. I totally agree. I watched it with my then girlfriend at the cinema, but I just thought it was so boring.
Yeah, I just wanted to get that. Sorry, Adam, I cut you off. What were you saying?
Well, I mean, I was going to hate on the representation of ancient Greece in all modern culture. It was a subject that I absolutely loved when I was a kid, and then as soon as I sort of got into it and wanted to like study in it all the way through, I just came to resent it because it's just been entirely sort of stripped out all the way through. You know, like you see this thing with the Christopher Nolan thing. I'm seeing a lot of the conversations coming up. A lot of people try to jump on the whole Greek statues thing again, where they're trying to claim that all the Greek statues look like clowns.
They were painted.
They were painted, yes. But like there are existing frescoes from the time period which portray some of the actual statues in the frescoes, and you can see in those that they're painted, but they're not painted the way these people imply they were.
Oh no!
You know, they'll have like they'll make like a king's cape red, or they'll paint his hair. Whereas these people are like, oh, the statues were blue with like pink lips, and it's the sort of
they weren't. They were painted realistically, is what they were painted. And let me agree with Lothar Sheffield in the chat here. The only good Ridley Scott film is The Duelist. It's the only good Ridley Scott film.
Runner?
Yeah, Blade Runner's
Gladiator.
Well, Gladiator.
The first Alien film.
Yeah. He's had a few hits.
All right.
Just everything else he makes
his best film is The Duelist.
Yeah.
I will say,
if you haven't seen that, go watch it. And the thing about it is, right, in that movie, Ridley Scott gets every single uniform and like when the French Hussars wore little long locks in their hair, he gets everything correct. And then he forgets it totally.
But isn't that more down to his team, though?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
because he doesn't.
The Duelist is great. It's a fabulous film.
Yeah,
really good.
I feel like the one film I forget by Ridley Scott is that 1492 Conquest of Paradise with
I've only watched that once, and I didn't think it was fabulous. But
the only thing I remember from it is the soundtrack. Like that's the only thing that film is really known for. To be like evangelistic soundtrack for that film. That's it. The film itself is just ignored because, well, Ridley Scott really did not do a good job on that film. And I heard with Gladiator, what happened was Connie Nielsen, who played the mother, she was more of a Roman history buff, and she basically said to Ridley Scott, "You are not changing these aspects." of Roman history for a film.
Yeah, I have kind of heard that there was kind of like essentially three people involved in the making of that kind of kept him on the straight and narrow, which is the only reason that thing came out any good.
Because he's been in like interviews more recently.
Guys, if you want to watch a good Ridley Scott film, go check out The Duelist. It's good and it's accurate.
I'll tell you what, one of the things on the Odyssey, I seen the poster for it, is going, defy the gods. As like, you've really not understood the point of the Odyssey then, if that's what you're thinking that's about.
Yes, exactly. That you can't defy the gods because the gods are there with you every single day.
The whole point of the Iliad was that the god, like you had one god siding with the Trojans and the other one siding with the Greeks. That was the whole point, because it's like in the case of Helen, what happened was, because in the film Troy, like you got Paris basically loads of, and it's like, I mean, it's shown as like them falling in love organically and all this, but it's like the thing was, it was like a love potion, I think, by Aphrodite upon Helen to make her fall in love with Paris, and then halfway through the war, she just grows a sense of disgust for him and tries to leave, but she stopped him, and it was basically like the gods playing their tricks with both sides. And so how can you defy the gods?
Yeah, and Odysseus's journey back is because Poseidon felt disrespected. So no, you defy the gods, they fuck you. That's what you learn from the Odyssey.
They fuck you up big time, and they make you spend 10 years getting back to your wife.
Yeah,
exactly.
I want to show it. There's also that scene where you got his old dog that dies after seeing him. I don't know.
Oh yeah. The only one who recognizes him when he gets home finally
is
his old dog, and his old dog wags his tail and dies almost immediately. And we are told that ancient people didn't understand things, but they did. There is actually a good version of the Odyssey you can go and watch on YouTube. With what's his name, guys? One of you guys will know it. Is it Armand Santi or something like that? Who is the star?
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, there's a good version of the Odyssey from the 90s. From the 1990s, yeah. Right. And it's on YouTube. You can watch it. I think it's two videos. And it's really good. And it sticks to the film. It sticks to the film. Like to the original Odyssey script.
Where was it made?
Oh, I presume it's American. Hang on, I'm going to try and find it.
No, I've never heard of it.
All right, I'll have to find it. I did put it on the Discord.
Oh, I've seen it recommended to me on YouTube now. I've seen the cover. I don't know any of the actors.
I did. I know some of them. Is it Armand Santi? Oh, here we go. I found it.
Yeah, Raw Biscuit said in chat, I thought his nurse must have recognised him. She does.
Yeah, she did, yeah.
Yeah, a little later she does she wash his feet? Hands, and she's noticed a scar on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, she recognizes him later when she's bathing his legs and recognizes a scar. But when he first walks back to his palace, the only person who recognizes him is his dog. But later on, the nurse does, another one of the slaves in the palace. But yeah, this is the movie I'm talking about, guys. I'm probably going to get in trouble for putting this on YouTube, even though it's a YouTube video. But let me see if it works. It might. Go watch this. This is the Odyssey as it was actually written. There you go.
We can't see it.
Well, I put it up. It's in Discord. It's in Discord anyway.
Okay.
It's in Discord anyway, guys. All right, I'll put it in the fucking Discord, all right?
I'm sure we can find it. You don't have to put it up.
Yeah, all you have to do is all you have to put is Odyssey 1997. I can easily find
it. Thank you, Mitch. Exactly. That's what it is. And Armand de Santi plays Odysseus, and that's okay. He was a Greek. Armand de Santi can play a Greek. That's not a big problem. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not overly concerned about like being from the right country in movies, just so long as you look the part.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, which, you know, obviously Lupita Nyong'o does not look the part of Helen.
My favourite casting in a movie has got to be the original Highlander. A Frenchman playing a Scot. A Scot playing an Egyptian Spaniard.
Yeah.
I know. It's sad, isn't it? But
I still love that film. It's a great film.
Listen, I've known girls.
Oh, you know
they just love kilts, and if you didn't have a kilt, they hated you.
Are you excited for Henry Cavill's Highlander?
No.
It can't be any worse than the sequels, can
it? I have faith in Henry in most of these things. It's just everyone else around his things.
Current day. It's current day. That's
awful. Yeah.
I mean, as far as the Highlander sequels, I quite enjoyed the third one, but the second one just ruined the entire lore.
We got Arnold. Arnold doing Conan again.
Jesus.
He's doing Conan the King, which was.
Sorry, I'll let you talk about, but I don't mind Henry Cavill doing the Highlander, but does the Highlander need to be remade? Why doesn't Hollywood take a film that was otherwise good but flopped in the box office and remake those films?
Because they don't think it will make money. That's why.
I don't know. I just think the right kind of advertising and promotion. So what were you saying about Conan? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to get that.
Yeah, it's the other new movie thing I saw this week. Arnold's back as Conan, which is not what I expected. But apparently he's been working out. He's got back into working out, doing cardio and weights every day. So he's actually saying he's actually feeling good for it. Because you see some of these actors, once they get a bit old, it's like, oh.
Do you know he was 38 when he played the Terminator in 1984?
Yeah, of course he was. He looks about that age.
I'd say he looks a bit younger. I'd say he looks younger, yeah.
Yeah? He was 38 when he played the Terminator.
No, he looks about, late 30s. He looks late 30s. Good age for a man. Like I said, it is a good age for a man. It's not a good age for a woman, usually. Although, having said that, there are some exceptionally beautiful women who are great in their late 30s.
One of the things you mentioned about Japanese women holding their age well. Well, this is something I've mentioned with Mercian, because he likes his Russian women, but they do not age well.
No, I agree. Russian women tend to get chubby. And
they turn into babushkas. Yeah,
they become babushkas.
You've got to back them while they're young. That's the same with most women, I mean, no eggs in the food, people.
We just do the Leonardo DiCaprio. Is it like once they reach 22, off you go?
mate, I'm not joking. There are Japanese girls in their late 50s who look like 30s women who are like Western European girls. There are.
This is the play then. What you do is you have a child with a young Russian woman who can.
Then you marry a Japanese girl.
Exactly.
Then you marry a Japanese girl.
Nailed it.
And you live happily ever after.
Yeah. See, Tharium, I'm a problem solver.
Yeah, and you get blowjobs into your 60s when the woman will say to you, "Sucky, long time, $5." That's what you do.
Yeah,
I agree.
Right into your agony uncle Mercian for more tips on relationships.
and like I said, my Japanese girl watches this stream, and she will think that is funny. Okay.
Yeah.
And she's way more racist than I am. But anyway.
What's her least favorite other Asian nationality?
Probably Filipinos, I think. But
they do seem.
But she doesn't like Indonesians, and she doesn't like Malaysians either. And she detests Chinese people.
So everyone, basically.
Yeah, like anyone who's not Japanese.
Japanese are very racist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
but she likes English people because she knows that English people helped create the Imperial Japanese Navy. So,
and their car industry.
Well, yeah, and their car industry, yeah.
I've heard
I didn't ask her about that, Mercian, but I'll take your word for it.
It's a fact, like all the big Japanese manufacturers from the late 40s, early 50s took a tour of the Austin factory, and Austin taught the Japanese how to build cars.
I've heard that
people are saying in the chat, Koreans. The reason my girl doesn't like Koreans is because they have so much plastic surgery when they're women.
Yeah.
Have you seen the one that tried?
And she says, quite correctly, of course, the Japanese girls don't need that because they're already beautiful.
Well, has she got the eye thing done? Because that's very common with Japanese girls.
No.
Good, because I really hate that. Like you shouldn't because that's I hear a lot of young Japanese girls are getting that done, and they just don't need it.
She tells me that's a Korean thing. It's not Japanese.
I've heard it's common in Japan. Maybe it's younger Japanese girls, but yeah, and they just really shouldn't be doing that.
Mate, I got the tea ceremony a couple of weeks ago, right? Mm-hmm. The actual Japanese tea ceremony, which I had no interest in really, but I'd never seen it, so I was interested. And I occasionally get a kimono, which is kind of cute, really. Mm-hmm. I've got to say, you know, it's pretty.
Right, so,
but we compromise. We compromise with each other.
Which Bond film was it from the 60s? I was set in Japan, like with Sean Connery. I'm trying to think what he was called now.
You Only Live Twice.
That was it, yeah. That's basically like Duke is basically one where he has a makeup done to make his eyes slantier and so on. I mean,
no, I don't do any of those things, Mitch. But I like the Japanese stuff because I kind of like people who keep their own culture. Like I said this to Morgoth on X. Like the thing that I love about the Japanese is that when they do a historical movie or a TV series, they go to great lengths to make everything accurate and what it really looked like. Whereas when we do that, not only do we put Africans in as knights, which is, you know, just total bollocks, but we make everything look grey and grubby and dirty. And you know what? Our ancestors were not like that. They liked nice, smart clothes in different colours and things.
Shogun with Hiroyuki Sanada. It had Japanese
yeah.
But it was very dark and gritty with a cinematography, which was a bit. I gotta be honest, but I do prefer the more recent form of a Shogun rather than the original from the 80s.
No, the original was a better movie, Mitch. I got to say.
Nah, I much prefer the more modern version. If I'm going to be more honest.
Well, all right. Well, you and I are going to disagree on this. I like the original one, and also the Japanese girl in the original one was more beautiful. So there we go.
Do you know the backstory behind that particular Japanese actress?
No, not really. I don't.
But basically, she was caught sleeping with some like high-end business executive back in the late 80s, and basically she had to resort to doing porn back in the 90s to make ends meet.
Well, that's a shame. Although I might look up the porn in due course. but yeah, she was really cute. I thought she was really lovely. So there we go.
So I look at the 1980 version. I think, no offense, because I mean I look at I look at the pot. You look at Japanese history of that time. I don't know.
Have you read the book, Mitch? Have you read the book?
I've got it. I just need to read it. I'll read it.
Right, because the book is written from the bloke's point of view, who is an Englishman. That's the whole point of the book.
Yeah, I would just say.
And the second one doesn't get that at all.
My main thing is like with the originals. I don't know, with the original series. I don't know. It feels too wholesome. I don't know. I mean,
it's too wholesome. Yeah, I know. English guy is shipwrecked in Japan, ends up falling in love with a Japanese girl. My God, what a horrible story. I agree.
Right, no. My main. So you look at the constant politicking, like the constant intrigue and so on. It feels a lot more. It feels a lot more fleshed out in the latest version as opposed to the original.
I don't agree with you at all about this, Mitch. There's not often I disagree with you, but on this, I think you're totally wrong. If you watch if you read the book Shogun, which I have, it's about the Englishman who gets shipwrecked in Japan, and he ends up falling in love with this drop-dead gorgeous Japanese girl. That's what. And listen, I don't like Richard Chamberlain as an actor. I don't think he's all that good, right? But the miniseries is much more accurate than the latest one, where the Englishman is portrayed as a buffoon. He's not meant to be a buffoon. All right.
So, when I'm looking at the TV series like Shogun, I'm focusing more on I know, like you're focusing more on the Englishman and you're focusing more on that.
Of course, yes.
I'm focusing more. I'm focusing more on sort of Japanese politics overlords. I'm focusing more on that, and I think in the latest series it was a lot more fleshed out. And that one, whereas in the original, you do see some of the characters, but like I don't know.
There's
none of the characters.
There's not even a love story in the latest one, Mitch. Right? The Englishman and the Japanese girl are supposed to fall in love in that movie, right? They're supposed to. That's what's in the book, but they don't in that series. They just don't.
Well, they do. I just don't think it was as good as the 1980 version.
All right. In other words, you young modern guys don't even know what falling in love is. But
no,
all right.
We don't.
Okay.
We don't.
I think that's what it is, to be honest. I do.
Well, I'll give you the play, Mitch. It's not too late. Get yourself a nice Russian woman. If she starts to get fat or too old, you trade up for an East Asian, like Japanese.
Yeah, find a Japanese chick. Yeah.
No, I've heard.
Listen, guys. Like I said, I've got a Japanese girl at the moment, and even she agrees that the second series is crap because it's not what the book said. You know, and listen, I this girl, right? She doesn't like my goatee, my moustache, and little beard. Because it's not a Japanese thing in modern world. But on the other hand, she realizes I'm an Englishman and I'm not getting rid of it. But she doesn't like it very much.
She tells you that, but she does really. You're the big scruffy English barbarian who's come take her away.
You're a gaijin.
I don't think she thinks I'm a barbarian, to be honest. But all right.
Oh, they do. They're Japanese. Of course they do.
They're all gaijin. You're all gaijin. Every single last one of them. Yeah. There's only two races.
I keep asking her about Japanese geisha and things, and she keeps telling me I don't really know very much about that because I was never a geisha. But anyway, that's what I get told.
There are only two races according to the Japanese.
Yeah.
If you're Oriental and not from Japan, you're from China. And if you're white, you're from America. They don't recognise any other race.
That's not true at all. Mercy, that's not true at all. The Japanese understand the British very well because we were the people who helped them build their navy. So, yeah.
Yeah, but
we
that was
are still
100 years ago.
Yeah,
so I wonder how much they've forgotten that.
We are still scruffy barbarians.
My girl still knows it, and like, I'm not going to say what she does, but she's just an average Japanese woman, really.
Well, as the Japanese toured the Austin car factory, and we basically started their car thing. I basically claim the Japanese car industry as British. So fact, I'll get a Subaru Impreza, a WRX STI as a British car.
Steve is, of course, right.
Right. You know, they liked us because we were the big scruffy barbarians. That's why they liked us.
It's like very much we're similar to us. The Japanese can have a strong sense of politeness, but we're also like complete savages in war, like us. And it's it's like that. It's all about and says a bit of a cultured thug. Like the Japanese love that about us. But look, it's like but they like Michael Caine in terms of sort of what sophisticated manners he can bring into a role. But they also like him. You can imagine they like someone like Michael Caine or Sean Connery. That's kind of.
It's like
I'm going to ask my girl about this, and I'm pretty sure she's not going to tell me I look like a big scruffy barbarian. Partly because I'm never scruffy, but whatever.
Well, if she's average Japanese woman, you'll be at least be massive compared to her.
But like dainty Japanese standards, you are. But you're always saying like women don't like pretty guys; they like the rough guys.
No,
that's what you are. That's what you are to her.
Women like manly men. Of course they do, because manly men can protect them. That's why they like women. I don't.
This is Japan.
Barn door. I don't have blue eyes. I've got brown eyes. All right, mate. But
sorry,
is that Spanish? I was going to make a terrible joke. You go on.
Oh no! What I was going to sort of say about like talking about women who like the protection. I've said this in a few streams and everything that the abundance of SUVs, like not necessarily 4x4s, but like normal 2-wheel drive cars that they put on stilts and make them bigger. Those appeal to women for their need to be protected. They think
it makes them safe.
Yeah,
even though they can't drive very well, they think it makes them safe. I agree.
Which is why some people have heard me say this. It's sort of like, why do you think big cars are very feminine coded? That's why. That's why these cars on stilts that are useless off road, because that's what usually you'd lift a car. You'd have the 4-wheel drive and make them good off road. These cars are useless off road. They're there. Cars to women because women are the big purchase makers in the West.
Yep. 100%.
So if you're a man and you are looking at an SUV, you basically make a feminine choice there.
like the thing about Japan, right, Bob, is like their women are a lot more sort of in tune with feminine biology, I suppose, whereas our women are
they're much more traditional, Mitch. Like Japanese women still want to be girls. They don't have an idea about being men. Like my chick doesn't want to be a man at all. She's got no interest in that. She's a girl.
Yeah, I'd also say with like I know what people are saying about how the Japanese and Koreans in the eyes of someone like Douglas MacArthur were the great soldiers. I mean, I know like my granddad didn't really say much about Burma, but one of the few things he ever said was he hated having to deal with the Japanese because they were some of the best soldiers he ever had to deal with in terms of like, just sheer resilience.
Yeah, they never gave up. That was the
yeah. They commit suicide rather than surrender.
So can I just address Raw Biscuits in the chat, because Raw Biscuits is asking me about, do you not think a lot of the higher seated cars deal with the potholes better? No. What I mean, firstly, we shouldn't have potholes, but if you're looking for a vehicle to deal with potholes, you need one of two things: compliant suspension and a tough suspension.
And softer tires.
These cars on stilts, if you really think about it, that they're not built for it. They're literally built to make women feel safer. That's what they're for.
Yeah.
If you want a vehicle that can deal with potholes, because God knows why we've got to deal with potholes.
We have the Nigerians. Why are the potholes still here?
Why aren't the Nigerians filling potholes?
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they don't do that. Strange to say.
But yeah, I'd honestly, I mean, I know I'm the rally car guy, but rally cars are built to deal with these things.
And they're not on stilts.
And rally they're not on stilts. So that's on stilts. That's the masculine, manly choice.
I mean, a good Land Rover's good, though.
Oh, yeah. Land Rovers are one of the two best cars in British history, right?
A proper off-roader.
Short wheelbase Land Rover. If that doesn't make you come as a man, there's something wrong with you, all right?
Well, I mean, the other thing is for potholes, long wheelbase is better.
I never. We used to use those, Mercian, to carry our mortars, all right? And our mortar guys were artillery, and they were all fucking bastards, all right? Sorry, but yeah, short wheelbase Land Rover, sure. The only other car that should make you come as a British guy is a Jaguar E-Type. Always should make you come.
I thought you were going to say the XJS then.
No, I love XJSs, all right? That's my second best.
Have you seen the modern ones they're making?
No, not at all.
Oh, I talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to put that in the Discord. I'm going to find one for you.
There is the Helix.
I bet it's not a sports car.
There is the legendary Helix, though, from Toyota.
Oh, get fucked.
What? That's a...
Oh, boy. There are two British cars, all right? There is the short wheelbase Land Rover and the Jaguar E-Type. If you really want to push it, you can talk about things like MGBs, great sports cars, particularly the ones with the leather strap over the bonnet, which I know Mercian will understand. And maybe, like he said, the Jaguar XJS. But they're the only British cars you should get really excited about. Those should give you a hard-on as a British man. And also used to make girls drip, by the way. And they did. They did. They made girls
there you drip. Go. I found a modern XJS. It's called the TWR Supercat.
Oh, yeah.
That's a Jaguar?
That's a Jaguar, not a Ford, yeah?
That is you know how modern companies, so like you can buy a modern modern Lanciers, you can get a modern Lancia Delta and the a modern Stratos. That is a small company that have got the rights to build it, and they've made a modern interpretation. And it's
interpretation. Okay.
Yeah, it's a TWR Supercat. And originally, it would have been based on a Jaguar XJS, obviously.
How much does it cost, Mercy? And
I can tell you it's a supercharged V12 and it pushing out 660 pounds.
Okay, so a lot of engine, yeah.
Yeah. Price. Let's find out. They start at £225,000.
Okay, so you can buy a house for the price of that car, right? Good, really useful.
For now, next week you won't be able to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's the problem, Mercy, and all right. You have to be rich enough to buy a house to buy that car. You know, it's like, how ridiculous, you know. What was the Mercy? You can find this for me because you're skilled at this and it's your subject. Mm-hmm. What was a Jaguar E-Type when it first came out? How much did it cost? When it first came out in the 1960s.
Original.
Yep. People talking about Lotus. You found a Lotus, Mercian?
Yeah, that's an Italian company, isn't it? I thought, anyway.
No.
It's Chinese now, Geely own it. So a 3.8 litre Roadster would cost just £2,100.
Right. Not the price of a house. Oh. How amazing. Like,
well, how much was a house back then? Probably about 2,000.
You could buy a house for 2 or 3 grand, mate. Yeah, exactly. Like, so you didn't have to be super rich to buy a Jaguar E-Type, which is the best British sports car ever made, really, in most respects.
You can buy a new E-Type, the Eagle Speedstar.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. How much is that? That's quite expensive, I think.
They're quite expensive as well.
Exactly.
Well, let's just say if you had a problem with the price of a TWR Supercat, you wouldn't want to spend minimum £600,000 up to £1 million.
Oh God.
Yeah, exactly.
And can I be honest? I don't like the look of the Eagle Speedstar. I think they need the chrome bumpers to make it look right to me.
But Mercian, right? Let's be honest. In the 1960s, even a working guy, any working guy, in a steady job, could, if he saved up for 2 years, could buy a Jaguar E-Type. That's the truth.
You
know, with a finance plan, if he saved up for 18 months or 2 years, he could buy a Jaguar E-Type. Like, he could be working at any British car factory or in a shipyard or whatever. He could be a plumber. You know what I mean? An ordinary British guy, if that was what he wanted above all things, was a Jaguar E-Type, and he saved for it, with a finance plan, within 18 months or 2 years, he could buy a Jaguar E-Type. He just could.
Possibly.
It's the truth, mate. Like, it was under $3,000. You just told us, Mercy.
Yeah, 2,100.
Right, so it was only just over $2,000. Okay, so if he saved up and he got a finance plan, any ordinary British working guy could buy a Jaguar E-Type. It's the truth, mate. It is.
Well, I'm going to pull myself up by my bootstraps and buy.
Right. You're going to get
Listen to the boomers, my friend.
$200,000 to buy the modern equivalent of
200.
E-Type.
Yeah, 500,000.
Yeah.
It came as a shock to me because, like, I really wanted an Impreza to be RX STI for quite a number of years now. The Hawkeye model, especially that came out in 2006 and was produced up to 2007. So we now talk about a 20-year-old motor vehicle, right? And I was expecting to maybe, like, I looked a few years ago, like, so when they were about 15 years old, and I was expecting to see prices of maybe 5, 6, 7 grand. They go for 25 grand.
Mercy, and it's like when I was a young guy, right? My contemporaries who wanted a bit of a muscle car, they all used to buy a Ford Capri, right?
Or an Opel Manta, if I could shoot.
Yeah, occasionally a what was the other Ford? The Ford Escort, like Rally.
Yeah, so like a Ford Escort Mexico, or maybe a Cortina GT.
Exactly. Or, but what most of my mates did back then, like guys I knew in the army and stuff, they bought a Ford Capri because that had a pretty big engine, and it was kind of like a British version of a Mustang. Yeah, exactly. It was. But you need like $1,000 to buy one of those, right? If you had $1,000 to put down and you had a steady job, you could buy one. I think they were probably about, I don't know, 3,500 or something back in the day. But you could afford to buy one. And now all the cute cars are just ridiculous that no young man can even afford to think about buying one.
It's not just I've pointed this out as well, like the whole this is why I'm pissed off about the purchasing power of women. If you want to buy a brand new car now, and I don't know why you would, but if you did, your choices are SUV or get out the showroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they all look the same anyway.
Yeah,
there's they all look exactly the same. So, like when I was a young man, you bought a car because you liked the look of it, but these days they all look exactly the fucking same anyway.
And to be honest, even the cheap ones are fairly reliable. Like a Dacia is probably just as reliable as any German car these days.
Sure. And you've got your Korean car companies and all the rest of it, but can you buy a British car unless you're super rich? No, you can't. You can't.
We've got Morgan left. We don't have Lotus Chinese own Lotus. What we have?
Yep.
McLaren technically. Noble. I don't know if the Noble is still making any cars, but it's all low volume sports cars.
Mercian, I still want to do that stream with you when we talk about the rise and fall of the British car industry. You know, like when I was a little kid, my dad had a Morris Minor and he had a Austin, the little tiny Austin. And, you know, when everyone could afford a car, pretty much, if they were working.
We even made some pretty cars in the British Leyland. I mean, like the Rover SD1.
Yeah, 100, mate. I don't have anything against British Leyland except for destroying the British car industry.
Oh yeah. Well, that made some terrible decisions. Very bad management, and I think there was a lot of communist subversion going on in that.
Oh yeah, there was with the unions for sure. But I mean, you know, I've told you this before. my ex-Royal Marine mate, when I was in the army, he had a Triumph Dolomite. They were a nice car. They were a good, nice, sporty sedan car.
Yeah.
And like, you know, he was very proud of the damn thing. And I understand why, because it was a nice car. It did what he wanted him to do. And also, they were quite sporty. You know, it had acceleration and all this.
I mean, we made. I mean, like I quite like the Hillman Avenging Tiger as well. I was quite with that one. Yeah. And
the end of British Leyland came with shit like the Austin Allegro. You know, once they started making that shit, they were on the downside.
But that was supposed to save the company. But what they did is, rather than make all the parts from scratch to fit a new vehicle, they made all the parts they were already making. And this is the communist thinking: just shove into there and ruin the car. It's quite a famous case of how the designer put his head in his hands. It's like, well, why are you ruining the design, this modern car that's supposed to be a car of the future, and you've now turned it into an old clanker by putting your crappy parts in it?
I had an Austin Allegro, Messian, and I drove it I went to Chard's grave, which is in Somerset. You know, Lieutenant Chard from Rawkstrift. And I went to his grave to put flowers on it, which I did. And then I drove from there to Wales to go to the Royal Welsh Regiment Museum in Brecon. And on the way back, because I tend to use my throttle pretty hard, my car blew up on the way back. An Austin Allegro. Yeah. The only one I've ever owned. Someone says to me in the chat, what are my thoughts on Chud the Builder? If it's a Chud the Builder, I think it is, he's completely not guilty. That's my only thoughts on that.
I don't have much sympathy for him, though, because he's acting like an African. He's just going around trying to upset people in public and film it. This is what all these Africans do, those dumb fucks. It's not very, it's like, I don't care who you're targeting. It's just like, what are you gaining from that? You're not doing anything. You're not changing anything. You're just being a twat.
Tharium, I just don't slag off.
I mean, I don't care for him being arrested for that. But
I don't slag off white people in public. I just don't like it.
Well, we should police our own. You know, if we're acting like cunts.
If you say so. Okay. If you say so. Me, I don't even talk about these things. But whatever.
I'll slag them off if they're fat neck beards.
Yeah.
Which we
no, look, it's like fat women. I'll police them. But if you're not a fat woman, I won't police you. Basically. If you're a cute woman, nah, not gonna police you. But yeah, whatever. All right, guys.
Tell you what, one thing I've heard because of course all Asians hate each other, right? But I've heard that when guessing where someone's from, one of them's from, it's always safest to go with Japan because they all kind of recognize that's the best.
Well, of course.
So you tell a Korean, like, they're not going to be, if you like guess a Japanese person's Korean, be really offended. But if you guess a Korean person's Japanese, they'll be, oh, no.
But Tharium, you do know that they don't look at all the same, don't you?
I know there's like, you can, yeah. But
there's a big difference between a Japanese person, a Chinese person, and a Korean person. And you can tell them apart.
I've heard like the differences. So the Japanese, if you see like sharper facial features, like akin to what you'd see on a samurai, then chances are they're Japanese. If you're coming across someone with softer facial features, chances are they're Korean. And if you're coming across someone who's fat, then yeah, they're Chinese.
Chinese are a bit rounder. Filipinos are quite round and fatter, I'd say.
Yeah, Filipinos are also a lot browner, as got to be said.
Yeah, and if you go to Thailand and you see a woman, most likely
it's not.
Yeah. I also saw one American, like I think it was like an American cop show or something, where they say also like if in the Korean shop, like let's say you get a shop owned by Koreans, basically if you touch something, you buy it. Basically, like they won't let you leave. Like if you've touched something, so that's it. You have to buy it. Otherwise, they'll just
they'll cause problems for you. Yeah.
My experience of Japanese people is that they are the most polite people you have ever met. But
I would say they're like us, some cultured folk. Like they can be like really polite.
Oh yeah. The Japanese have the samurai. You know, the Japanese have the samurai, and the British had the Royal Navy. And we can be vicious as fuck, but in general, the people are really nice. And if you're polite to a Japanese person, they're never going to be rude to you because it's just
they just don't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not the way they are.
Yeah, so I've noticed like what they call racism in Japan is kind of like, well, for example, let's say a black guy goes onto a train, the Japanese people instinctively just sit away.
Yeah, but British people do that too, or at least we used to when we could. But
yeah, it's kind of like, well, in our case, it's a matter of, well, the police will notice, like the CCTV will pick it up, and you'll probably get harangued by the police.
Yeah, I'd still do it, but
I still do it. Like,
but in general, in the old days, like you didn't sit next to a black person or an Indian person or whatever. You just didn't, because why would you? You know.
Yeah, it's like if I go on a bus, like I'll notice no one wants to sit next to the Indians if there's any Indians.
No one does. Or the Africans, because they always play their phones at maximum revs, and even if they got headphones on, you could still fucking hear it.
I noticed with like blacks, they always sit at the back of a bus. Like they never sit in front of you. They always like to sit at the back of a bus.
Yep.
That's one thing I've always noticed.
Because that's how they can play, you know.
But and the other thing is, if you go to a gym and you see, like I said, like an African or mixed race kind of guy there, they are just the most annoying. Like they hog the damn machines, and you can't get them off.
Well, I've been to the gym with my Japanese girl, and that was all right actually.
Oh, one thing.
She only did girly stuff. It was nice.
As something I've also seen with Japanese girls in gyms is that they don't insist on dressing in as little clothes as possible and then getting upset when people look at them in the gyms.
Well, my girl wears what I wanted to wear, but I mean that's obvious, you know. But if I go with her, she'll wear a little bit less than if I don't. But that's just because I think it's fun. So whatever. I'm fond of Japanese women. They're kind of based and pretty traditional, really.
Yeah, I see. Also, one thing I find funny is so in America they make loads of films of the Vietnam War, and loads of Americans I've known, they all seem to have the idea that Vietnamese hate them. It's like, well, actually, if anything, the Vietnamese hate the Chinese. I mean,
true.
It's like how much chemical weapons that the Americans deployed over Vietnam. You'd think, they hate. Actually, no. Like,
no, it's the Chinese they hate, mate.
Yeah, but it's one thing. Is Americans just have this idea with other films, like because do films like Platoon and Full Metal Jacket and all
yep.
And they get this idea that the Vietnamese hate him. It's like, that's actually far from it. Like the Vietnamese actually quite like him. Like, I mean, I remember people posting cultural victory memes like Civilization 5 or whatever, and it's like when Vietnam opened up the first McDonald's.
Tell me, guys, if the Falklands War in 1982 had been done by the Americans, how many major movies do you think we would have had about it by now?
Yeah,
six at least, probably.
I mean, I know there's been.
I mean, like, I know they've done films about like the second Iraq War and the Afghanistan.
Yeah, they've done. There's been a bunch of Iraq and Afghanistan ones.
But
yeah, no. Hang on, guys, you're missing the point. I'm saying if the Falklands War had been British, which it was, right, not American. I'm not interested in how many movies the Americans make. If the Falklands War in 1982, with the Royal Navy and the British Army and the Royal Marines, if that had been an American war, we would have had at least 6 major movies.
Well, that's what we're saying.
That's like what do we have? We have nothing whatsoever, right? Nothing, because all the British filmmakers are so left-wing and so anti-British that they'd never make a film about a British
I'd also say our film industry, I mean, we just sold everything off to the Yanks as well.
Yeah.
That's another problem.
It's everything has to appeal to the American market for us now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Do you know why another reason why the Americans might not make a film about the Falklands, and I know the British film company should be making it. It's because they can't sell it as the Americans did it.
All true. But let's remember, Master and Commander was made in America by an Australian director. Let's remember. And all right, they changed the ship to a French ship rather than an American, the enemy ship to a French ship rather than an American ship. But you know what? I don't think the Americans are so anti-British that they wouldn't like seeing the British beat Spix in the fucking South Atlantic, you know?
I think it's one of those things they just wouldn't really care about, though. It wouldn't fire them up in the same way. So I don't.
Why? Okay, second biggest film industry in the world after the Americans is the British. So why don't we make that film?
I know we should, but
it's like there's that film that's coming out soon about the D-Day weather, and I'm sort of thinking like that's another problem you've got with a British film scene. Is
I'm just so bored with World War II shit.
Yeah,
I'm bored with it.
That's another problem you've got with our film scene over in Britain. It's like it's just boomers just constantly making films.
Yeah.
World War II, it's so boring. Make a film about the Falkland Islands. Make a film about a frigate crew who have to go down there when they're on an exercise and they face Argentine bombers and Exocets and maybe Argentine submarines and do ground. They do naval gunfire support on the ground, and make a film about that, for God's sake. That would be worth making, and it would be a good film.
I will say, as much as like one can say Hollywood is pretty bad, I'd also say French film scene is pretty bad. Like I remember one time watching a French horror film from 2007, where the whole premise was cannibalistic neo-Nazis who like eating Arabs for some reason.
No, the French are not much better, mate. But no,
I'd say Hollywood is not as bad as the French.
Mitch, the British film industry is the second biggest film industry in the world now.
Isn't it China?
Surely to God, there must be some British director who could make a film about the Falkland Islands, which would be our film, you know?
It's all about the money, though. It's like why you see Hollywood pandering so much to the Chinese audience in a lot of like Marvel films and stuff. You can't have anything in there that will upset China.
Farian, don't you think?
I'd like it, but
a film about the Falkland Islands, a realistic film about the Falkland Islands, where the British guys were the heroes. Yeah. Do you not think that would probably be the most popular British film in a decade? at least.
Yeah, probably. And it's also like the Falklands
it could become something like Zulu.
It's also the Falklands is a stunning victory, unlike all the Iraq and Afghanistan films that have been made.
There's no, you weren't fighting for fuck all. You actually liberated the people. You could do scenes where Royal Marines and British soldiers walked into little Falkland settlements, and all the women and children came out cheering you because you liberated them, because that was what really happened.
It's like, I remember that that film about that sniper guy, and how they sold it was they show him watching the Twin Towers getting hit, and then we're going to walk in Iraq now, are we?
Is that the American sniper?
I think it was that. They just sort of like tried to like make it look like the war in Iraq was in response to the Twin Towers. Like, not quite, but you don't need to fuck around with the Falkland Islands though.
My challenge to anyone involved in the British film industry today is make a film about the Falklands War and about the Royal Navy, the Royal Marines, and the British Army liberating the Falklands, when British people in the Falklands were held in buildings at gunpoint by the Falklands, by the Argentinians. Do a real film.
I'll say it even more. What we could do is we can put lots of diversity on it, but on the RG side.
Yes. Where they belong.
Or another way you could do it is you could have a young British sailor or soldier or Royal Marine who had just got married, and you could watch his wife desperately hoping he would survive as he goes through the war. Britain lost 4 warships in that war, right? And a merchant ship, the Atlantic Conveyor. But you know what? The Royal Navy didn't give up. They fought until they won, just like Nelson's sailors. The Royal Navy doesn't give up. The British Army doesn't give up. They fight and they win. And if you're a good British guy or girl and you're involved in the British film industry, do a bloody film about that. And you'll suddenly find you have the most popular film in modern British history. I guarantee you.
They would have to have the lead character be Ellen Page, though.
No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't.
I have enjoyed the memes with Ellen Page as Achilles.
Who? Yeah, absolutely. Who's the guy, the British actor who played one of the Krays in the film?
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah, Tom Hardy.
Yeah. He's the guy you'd make the.
Yeah, he'd be good.
He'd be Colonel H, I reckon.
Yeah.
He'd be Colonel H of the Parachute Regiment.
I don't know what it's called, but have you seen the BBC drama of it's set during the Second World War, so you're probably 60 to that, but they talk about the commandos, and I forget what it's called. It looks fairly decent for something the BBC put out.
No, I haven't seen anything decent by the BBC for a very long time, but whatever.
Well, there's no the clips I've seen. There's no diversity in it, and
like I said, if the Falklands was an American war, we would have 6 major Hollywood films about that.
It doesn't need to. I've told you, and there's never. It doesn't need to be an American war. That the Americans.
No, I don't want a major. Mercian, I don't want an American film about it. I want a British film about it.
I understand that. I understand. I'm just sort of saying.
All right.
I'm just sort of saying the Americans would do it if they could sell it as an American war.
Yeah, but I don't want an American film about it. I want one British film about it.
They put up the money though, which is the problem. It's like with A Bridge Too Far. They had to sort of, make the Americans to be a bit bigger and less incompetent in that.
And the British were the arseholes. Yes, yeah. I hate that. I hate that film.
That's kind of the problem with our film industry now.
Yeah, but okay, do a Zulu, make a British film.
Yeah,
make a British film.
It's funny, Zulu today, you'd half the Rocks Drift lot would be Zulus themselves.
Would be black. Yeah, I know. I agree.
Yeah, to be fair, I reckon if you went to the Hebrides during the summer, you could kind of pull that off as Argentinian looking.
All right. I'm gonna Fed post very soon if we continue on this track. But yeah, anyone who is involved in the British film industry, if you want to make the greatest British film success there has been in 2 decades, do a film about the Falkland Islands. Do a film where there's a young British sailor or a Royal Marine or maybe a parachute regiment guy who's just got married and he's going down there. And you can do the female bits for his wife, all right? But do the true story where, like, British Royal Marines or soldiers would arrive in a settlement and the Argentinians would have just run away. And they were held in a building at gunpoint for weeks. They were liberated. That the British Army was liberated them. There's some Argentinian scumbag cunt on X who keeps telling me the Malvinas are Argentinian. And I always tell him over my dead body and over every single
that logic because he's close to it. In that case, France is Germany. How about that?
Yeah, right. France is German.
But yeah, would that American complain if we decided to take over Ireland?
Yeah, exactly. Fuck all these people. The Falkland Islands are British. They will always be British, and they will always laugh at Argentina. Always. But anyway, whatever. But yeah, if you're in the British film industry, want to make the most successful British film there's been probably in 30 years, do a realistic movie about the Falkland Islands. Every single patriotic Briton will go and watch it. You'll make a fortune.
I imagine for just anyone in the film industry in general at the moment who's sort of vaguely just normal. Let's set the bar at just normal.
Yeah,
it must be really depressing.
Strange.
It must be really depressing though, because it's such a shit state.
Yep.
The movie industry.
Yep. Like I said, you want to make a British epic about the Falkland Islands. That'll be the most successful film there's been in British history in the whole of the 21st century. And I'm not even joking. If there's anyone in the British film industry who is not a left-wing communist, look at it, boys. Look at it. And girls. Look at it.
Elon Musk should be funding this stuff. Because that's the real problem.
Maybe, but he's a South African, so maybe, but yeah. All right, guys. Mercian, anything you want to plug, mate?
My channel still exists if you want to go check it out. I still have an X as well, Mercian303. Yeah, you can go follow me there.
Tharium, anything you want to plug, mate?
Nothing at the moment.
Mitch, plug your channel, sir.
Mitch History channel. I do have a plan at some point to do that Reconquista stream with U3 plus Bede and AI, but I've been a bit lethargic lately, so but basically, I don't know. Up until I don't know July, I can do it. I can do any week. So, but basically, I don't know when I'm going to get round to it, but yeah. I know like basically for the next I don't know month or so, I've got nothing going on in terms of plans for streams. So,
all right, guys. Thank you very much to Adam, Mitch, Mercy, and Tharium for joining me this evening, because otherwise we would not have had a stream. But yeah, go check out their channels. There'll be DLs under the stream later on. And in the meantime, we'll be back on Wednesday with a history stream. I have no idea what it's going to be yet, but someone's going to give me a hint, I hope, in my Discord. Hint, guys. Yeah, apart from that, if you're in the British film industry, please make a Falklands War film. Really? Like, we need one. We need one. But, all right, lay up, people, and go well. And in the meantime, don't let the bastards grind you down.